All right, man, peace. So I'm just watching a replay of Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and Derek Fisher made a statement to show that he, like myself, understands that when you play in the LeBron James system, when I say you, I'm talking about LeBron James' quote-unquote supporting cast. Oftentimes they get demonized because the people who try to appraise how well they're playing don't understand that they're limited. Their opportunities are limited by the type of basketball that you have to play when you play alongside a LeBron James. That system is totally and completely fitted to only allow him to shine offensively. And that's why you'll see that it's only when Ty Lue creates a detailed game plan to force LeBron to pass the basketball to a player like a Kevin Love or what have you. That's when you see those other players get the shot attempts that they need to establish a rhythm where they can also score. Just pay very close attention to what Derek Fisher states here in response to what Mike Fratello asserts and also what David Griffin tries to supplement. Derek Fisher is going to school them both on why LeBron James' quote-unquote supporting cast don't play as well, allegedly, as one would think they should be playing alongside LeBron James.
You know, guys, if we think about it, because of the brilliance of LeBron James and what he's capable of doing, we haven't gotten very much, and I say we, meaning if you're thinking about Cleveland, Korver, Hill, Green, even Clarkson. What have they done if you think about it tonight? Not very much productivity out of any of those guys.
Well, how much productivity do you expect them to bring on a consistent game-by-game basis when for the most part they're only going to get 7 to 8 shot attempts a game?
No, and the starting backcourt situation is also pretty bleak. Heading into the quarter, it's 39 to 13 advantage for the Warriors.
Why would you make a comparison in point output between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, when for all intents and purposes, LeBron James, even though he's a 3-man/4-man, he runs the point and plays the shooting guard? So why would you compare what the backcourt of the Cleveland Cavaliers have scored to what Golden State scores, when Golden State has what's normally universally recognized as the NBA's best backcourt in regards to scoring and defense, really? Why would you compare them? Unless you're once again trying to perpetuate this narrative about LeBron James, that he's this heroic figure that's tugging this train up a hill to confront the giant on top of the hill.
Well, Boston's backcourt killed them in every game, and the 2 games that Cleveland's backcourt won, they won it by 1 point.
Yeah, and I think to be, fair to those guys having been in that position before
Now listen to what Derek Fisher stated. He said, I want to be fair to those guys having been in that position before. He's talking about having to play with Kobe Bryant, knowing that Kobe's going to get the vast majority of the shots. And then, of course, Pau Gasol's going to get anywhere from 12 to 18 shots, depending on how hot he is. So players like Derek Fisher are just left with the scraps. So you can't look at Derek Fisher and say, well, Derek, what are you doing? You can't look at a Kyle Korver or really even a J.R. Smith and say, what are you guys really doing, when they're only allowed to take anywhere from 7 to 10 shots a game? For some players, it's difficult to develop a rhythm. If you're Kobe Bryant and you start the game out 2 for 10, you know you're going to get at least 15 more shots in the game to get hot if you're not hot. If you're J.R. Smith and you start the game out 0 for 6, you might not get another shot for the whole game.
But the field goal attempts are also 31 to 10.
The Cavs don't play a style that allows sometimes for guys to get the number of shots. To our point about Korver, you don't get a number of shots that allows you to impact the game offensively. So
thank you, sir. In other words, they're playing in the LeBron James system. And Mike Fratello should be embarrassed to make that type of a comparison. He's supposed to understand the game at a far higher level than to just say, oh, well, how many points has the Cleveland backcourt scored in comparison to Golden State's backcourt? You already know that LeBron James is the reason why any backcourt that he plays with is going to be marginalized. They're going to be marginalized, and that's why Kyrie wanted out. There was a story where supposedly last season Ty Lue took Kyrie Irving aside and he said, we want the ball to be pushed more. We want to push the offense more. We want a faster pace. And Kyrie Irving looked at Ty Lue and said, why are you telling me that? Go tell him that, pointing at LeBron. Because he knows that LeBron runs the offense. So if Kyrie Irving felt marginalized, how much more a George Hill or Jordan Clarkson or J.R. Smith? And of course, those players are not on the level of a Kyrie. They're certainly not on the level of a Klay Thompson or Steph Curry. But when they're allowed to play in an offense where they get more shots, then you can make that comparison.
So, we second guess and question whether or not the Cavs' other guys can have impact. Well, if they only get 3 shots or 4 shots, offensively they may not impact the game. They still can defend and rebound, 50-50 balls, make winning plays.
Thank you, sir. Someone who actually understands the game and how you can't judge stats when you don't understand what the offensive scheme is that team is running. Good for you, sir. I guess when you're not trying to skeet up in your former teammates' wives, you actually know what you're talking about when it comes to basketball.
That's happened by Caban.
But anyway, I just wanted to make that point because Derek Fisher, he was showing that he actually had an understanding of what's going on the court. And you notice how quiet David Griffin and Mike Fratello got when he made that statement. Because you have so many of these agents in these liberal sports media. Why do I call it the liberal sports media? Because they like to perpetuate false narratives. They like to push fake storylines to help a certain character, the LeBron James character, as opposed to the LeBron James reality, to help foster this fake image. And LeBron is great enough. He doesn't need to be lionized. He's already great enough. We don't have to have evaluations where you already know that he's going to have the ball in his hands 60% of the time, but you're still trying to grade Jordan Clarkson versus Steph Curry. It's just stupid. But anyway, peace.